What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda. Welcome to my channel. We have made it. We have made it to the altar. I think things turned out exactly the way we thought they were going to turn out. Y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's get into the business that is Love is Blind. I'm getting over here a little late today, so let's get cracking. What day is it? It's Thursday. I got to go into the salon tomorrow, so I probably won't be here to talk to y'all, but I'll be here Saturday to talk about the Bell Collective. Right now, we're going to talk about these people over here on Love is Blind. Season 9, episode 12, we are at the bachelorette party. And Megan is sitting with her friends. It was like a weird party. Like they weren't partying together. They were like in groups with their friends. This whole season, I think, was shot a little bit different than normal. So, yeah, everything about it was a little bit strange and sad. You know, it was a sad bachelorette party. Last season, they was over there twerking and things and having a good old time. This season, they were sitting in groups. Megan is telling her friends what a great guy Jordan is, because he is a great guy. She's just concerned about their lifestyle differences. And Megan wants to do life with someone. However, she over here choosing someone that doesn't do life the same way she does it. So, you know, it's so hard, I think, to judge these people. I feel like there's a lot of judgment going on because the expectation is these people are supposed to come over here, find love in the pod, get to the altar and say, yes. I'm guessing that's the expectation. But to me, this season seems more like what's real. I'm guessing there's some relationships that have come out of it. I just started, I think, at season 7. So I know that there was an announcement of a couple from Love is Blind that just, had a baby. So, life is weird. And sometimes you find your love online. Sometimes you find them like down to the Home Depot. Sometimes you find them behind the screen, blindly loving. But, that doesn't happen for most people, I think. I actually saw some guy going through the gentleman's lounge talking about I'm engaged. But there's so many people whose story that we don't see because they're over here doing weird things, trying to create stories with couples like KB and Edmund. I don't think the other couples were that far off. I just think these decisions are difficult to make unless somebody checks all your boxes. You can't get over here without all your boxes checked and then decide you want to pick things apart, later on. All those unchecked boxes seem to cause a lot of problems over here from behind the wall of love. Allie is talking to her friends. Her friends know she's high maintenance. They're like, this man is just a truck driver. And I feel like they were giggling. And I was like, you bitches. What's so funny about that? Why can't this man be a truck driver? Anyway, it seems like they're a group of high maintenance girls. I don't know what this man's money looked like. He didn't say he was broke. He said his job is a truck driver and he's interested in investing in real estate. Now, she said barbershop. Anton, you be telling a lot of stories now. I don't know. It seems a little weird. Which thing is it? Is it a barbershop? Because your haircut need work. So I hope you just invested in the barbershop and not the person that's cutting your hair, because you need to change that. But that's neither here nor there. They're concerned that Anton won't be able to provide the type of lifestyle this lady likes. I mean, maybe she should work on providing her own self with a lifestyle. That's the way she should do it. Because if you're out here looking to, wrangle some millionaire, that cost. She want to sit at home and raise babies, and then, we'll see. You know what I'm saying? We'll see what her standards are, and wonder if maybe she, let a good thing go. I don't think so. I think there's some problems with Anton, but we get into it. We get into it. Um, Allie is counting on his potential. She's telling them like what his plans are, and looking forward to a future of what could be, because we're thinking of all things in terms of fairy tales. Ain't no real life thought process going on over here. And her friend said he could potentially just be a truck driver. Now, if you okay with that, that's good. And I was like, she's absolutely right. You have to be okay with him just being a truck driver, because that's what he is. And I'm saying just because that's what he does. And for her and these ladies, they're like just a truck driver, as if, that's something. One of her friends said a lot of people would look down on that. I don't know why. But, this caliber of girls, have a different way of thinking, I guess. Her friend said, if you're marrying him for who he is now, then, well, she said, if you're not marrying him for who he is now, then that's not a good thing. And I'm like, she's 100% right. That's what you've got to be falling and walking down the aisle to. This man that you're walking with right now. We don't know who he could potentially be. Somewhere laid up, on the curb, like what's that movie with Eddie Murphy? When them two dudes are always there drunk on the curb, that could be Eddie, Anton and his friend. On the other side, I don't know, this bachelor party doesn't seem very fun either. Last season or the season, they usually go somewhere fun. Like the girls go do something and the boys, they have basketball games and hockey games and things. They did not do that this time. What's going on with the budget? They just said y'all don't like each other, so we're not going to waste our money getting you to hang out and do things. They had a few rodeos. Denver is boring. There should have been horseback riding, some outdoors activities. You know what I'm saying? Well, these people, I guess it's cold outside. Hey, Shayna, welcome to the chat. Were you happy with how things turned out? Were you surprised with how things turned out? I was not surprised. I don't think most of us were. Anton is talking to his friends because they clearly have these guys on one side and the girls on the other side. And he says, Allie is high maintenance. She doesn't cook. She doesn't clean. She's not very good with finances. So then, what are you there for, Anton? He said he says there's things that he values more than that. I hope so. Cook and clean and cook for your damn self. Clean your own place. Get us the housekeeper, because that's not her thing. He doesn't say. He doesn't want to say. I don't know. They looking at him like, what? I feel like Anton's into her looks, and that's okay. She's a beautiful girl, but like I said before, if Anton is hanging out in strip clubs and in the clubs and things, if not her, it's gonna be another from behind the pie window wall or whatever. I think Anton is into the hot girls, and he's into making that sacrifice. He would prefer that she be hot than worry about her cleaning up around the place. He can work a few extra hours, and have a housekeeper. Long as she got that drink in the refrigerator, then I think he's good to go. He gonna say yes. That's what he told his friends. He wants to marry her. He wants to say yes. It's wedding day. We getting straight to it. We don't have to lollygag around too much because we know these people aren't about to do what they said they was gonna do. Allie's mom is over here in the bridal room while she's getting her makeup on, and she's concerned about his drinking. And they don't drink alcohol at her house, and she does not like the alcohol drinking. Well, mama, this ain't your house. And over at this house, they have a few drinks every now and then. Now, the problem is when she go put a White Claw in the refrigerator, she come back and Anton has sucked it down. So we would like to temper his drinking. Is it a problem? I can't say. I know he was tipsy, always turning up his cup somewhere over here on this program. This is lemonade, so I am not Anton. I sit up here and drink in front of this ring light, and then I'm gonna fall out this chair, and y'all will have a different life. Anton is on the other side, putting on mismatched socks. And I want to know why that is. Why are you wearing mismatched socks? And they were not a little bit different. They were both stripes, but they were enough different. You standing up there at the altar with two different socks on alone is enough reason for her to say no, that you couldn't find a way to get some socks that match. What was you doing when you was throwing this outfit together? Was you drinking, Anton, when you made to pick them socks and pack them? His mother comes to help him get dressed, and she offered him some words of positivity. I like Anton's mom. He said he's worried that this lady might, say no to him. I mean, I feel like you could feel it. He probably can tell that she's having some reservations. He sobered up and she was acting funny. And for me, like 1 month is not enough. The love can't happen fast enough for me to matrimony myself in 30 days. So, I mean, this is what y'all are doing over here. So I feel like things of worry and anxiousness should feel normal because you're going over here to marry somebody you don't damn know. His mother said, she needs to appreciate his soul and not be worried about, the finances of the things. I feel like Anton has had this conversation with his mother and apparently his friends. We're all discussed the fact that this young lady, Allie, is a little bit high maintenance. And now, when you say it like that, honestly, I feel like it makes it seem some type of way, saying high maintenance and she likes what she likes. That's why I said maybe she should learn how to finance, her own life. If your goal in life is to sit somewhere and be pregnant and take care of your kids, that's fine, I guess. I'm going to disappear for just 1 second, but I'm still here. That's fine, I guess, for you to want to be a stay-at-home mom. I think that's a luxury to be able to stay home with your children, while they're getting school age. I think that's a stage in life. She's in her 30s, so she has babies. She's in her 20s, so she has babies. She's young enough to do that and still have life to live. So I get that part. It's just the whole and my Botox and you don't do nothing and that's it. If there's a man out there willing to be able to afford to take care of Allie, and her things better than Anton, then she should probably go ahead and go that because we don't know what she values. His mother said his soul and his qualities. I think she's right. I think when you go into a marriage, you should absolutely be looking at the person's soul and their qualities because that's the thing that's going to keep you together. But everybody doesn't, appreciate or value the same things. So if his qualities is not money, then that might not be the one for him. His mother said if she says no, that this is just your experience. She was already kind of getting him ready to this girl might get up here to the altar. Let's break you apart. That just means she's not the one for you. You'll find another pretty girl that's okay with you being a trucker and loves you, for who you are, which is, what everybody deserves, I think. Y'all making this decision so fast and it's just so hard for everybody to be there. You have, like I said, all the boxes got to be checked. And Anton is not checking his boxes because he's drinking all the drink and he forgot to check them. So now the paper's crunched up in the glove compartment in his car. He don't know where it is or what boxes, what the options are. He's lost. He just likes the way she looks. So he gonna take her, to the altar. His mother goes over to see Allie. She's a very gracious, sweet lady. She's very emotional because she's like, girl, how you feeling about my son? Because if you don't like him for real, I'm going to be upset if you break his heart. He about to get his heart broken. And I don't think any mother wants to see their child get their heart broken. So I get it. So she's, trying to temper her so she can warn her son, don't go up there and say yes. But Allie reassured her, no, I love him. I love him. You raised a great son. I know. I just want to know if you plan on, dumping this man at the altar. She didn't give it up, Mama. She led you on just like she led on Anton. Her sisters show up, which is a good thing. Even the one that doesn't approve, she showed up too. She came up with a speech about how she hates the idea of this, but if this is what you want to do, then go ahead and do it. I guess, sister. She was happy that she was there, and I feel like she absolutely should have been there. It's not your day. Just relax. The lady is going to do the right thing. If she wants to be on television, she's pretty and it worked. She got made it all the way to the end, and she didn't get dumped at the altar. She's the one that did the dumping. So there's that. Um, I mean, they walk down the aisle. There's beautiful flowers. She's a beautiful bride. All the things of wedding are happening over here with Anton and what's her name? Allie. He does his speech about how they have their amazing connection and they've had their ups and downs. They be cracking me up. I don't think I've ever dated anyone that in 30 days we had any ups or any downs. It was mostly just ups. We had ups and downs, I'm sure. The ups and downs that keep you distracted from what's really going on. I feel like it take about 30 days before, things start changing and shifting a little bit. So y'all are just at the shift part. If y'all have had ups and downs besides the ups and downs that, are entertaining and fun to do, then you shouldn't be saying yes when you get to the altar. You should most definitely be saying no. Allie gave her speech and man, she let him have it. She said all these nice things. He was easy to fall in love with. He loves his family. He accepted her. They all say that. You accepted me without knowing what I look like from behind the pod window wall. And you accepted me anyway. Of course, Anton chooses Allie. And Allie said Anton in the outside is not the same Anton as he is on the inside. She chose herself because she said he was over there drinking a lot. He probably still has a party lifestyle. And she was literally just in that room saying how that's not the case anymore. That's not what he's been showing her. And then she got out here, flipped the switch, and they kill me with this nice speech. You having a whole speech about how easy he is to love and da 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 da. And, he's sitting up thinking it's a girl only for you to say he's not the same dude that he was, in the pods. I guess not. In the pods, he was just a stranger behind a wall. And then y'all went to Mexico and smashed. And he was with it. He was tipsy smashing down there in Mexico. He came back. You was a mess. You left that apartment a mess. He was in the refrigerator drinking up all his drink. He wasn't sure he was allowed to let his friend Pratchett come over or not. So he lied. I try to be telling little lies too. So, I get it. I just don't get the whole buildup. Contractual obligations. We're going to give him that. It's just a weird speech before. You know what I'm saying? Like you could have been giving him hints to be like, I don't know, man. I'm thinking, I'm concerned. So, they didn't do any of that over here. Anton is sitting there with his different socks on, looking a fool. Anyway, I think these two actually have potential. Except for, she's a pretty girl, but she's not a dumb girl, Anton. And if you want a girl at the end, they're not that old. They're very young. So, him wanting to settle down, this is the beginning of what settling down looks like, I think, for him. Allie's got it. If she find the right guy with the right amount of money, she gonna go ahead and, run it. And because she's pretty, those opportunities will come, to her. There's a big price to pay, though, by marrying a wealthy man when you don't have your own. So your two friends just sat up there and told you how they was going through divorces. So talk to them and see, what happened over there with her friends. Anton, I think, is learning what he wants. If he wants to have a wife for real, he's not a bad looking dude. I don't think that, this lady was so much out of his, what do they call it? Out of his lane, out of his league. I don't think she was so much out of his league. I think Anton, if this is the kind of girl you want, it's gonna cost you. So yeah, you better get your barbershop and things going. Cause when a man has money, he don't mind like spending it on his lady. Not the right man, not the right man don't mind that. That's not a thing. They don't weaponize the money until, they try to start exercising control. This is a different conversation altogether. These two did not make it. So they got to the altar and said no. That's what had happened. He said yes, she said no. We seen it coming, and so that's that. KB and Edmund. Ugh. KB is also playing in our face. I think KB, this is not your fairy tale. I'm very confused by KB. I have been from day one. Edmund, not so confusing. It's easy to say something's going on there. He's had a very traumatic childhood, and his behaviors are probably a long list of reasons why he behaves the way he does. By the end of this episode, I was like, oh my word, what is really happening here? Edmund said he is not at all worried. He does not have cold feet. And as a matter of fact, he's coming in here with hot feet. His feet is hot and he's very emotional. And we would expect nothing less from Edmund. It's to be up here crying and, screaming and hooting and hollering and dancing and jumping and, cartwheels and all the things that this man does. And what is his friend? You can tell he's energetic. Why do all his friends talk like that? They be talking to him like he may snap at any second. Edmund, relax. It's going to be okay. All of them. That's how they all talk to him. KB sitting up here talking about Edmund makes her feel loved. I halfway believe that. I don't know, KB. I feel like, does he really? Or he just says it a lot. Because he thinks the more you say it, the more it means something. You know what I'm saying? Y'all aren't even operating on the same leagues. I don't want to say leagues, but y'all are definitely not operating on the same intellectual level. I'll say it that way. Something's completely over here going on different than what's going on over there. KB's mom goes to talk to Edmund. She's a very nice lady. She also talked to him very kindly and, lovingly. His mother is not there. We didn't get to see Edmund. We didn't get to see Edmund meet KB's family. I think that would have, given us a little more clarity because this thing over here with these two seems very choppy. She says her mother loves Edmund, probably because Edmund is very nice. And I'm sure, she's probably like, girl, what are you doing? KB's mother was very much in on the joke. I don't want to call it a joke. She was very much in on the game that KB is playing over here. So, she was genuine and nice with him. I think they were both very much careful with his feelings until KB starts stepping out. But, I don't think she had any way of knowing that this is what she was going to be dealing with for real, So I'll give her a pass on that, but not much. I just wish we could have seen that engagement. We wasting time with Joey and Madison. We got the same dinner just with different people. We met his mother for what? I don't know. I guess more exploitation, clearly, because the lady ain't even here. And another disappointment from his mother. I think that lady is toxic and should stay out of his life. I feel like the more he engages with his mother, the more disappointing. Even at this age, she's still like abusing him emotionally. It sucked. Hey, Tina. This raggedy face fake BS. Well, it was a lot of fake going on, but unfortunately, by the time with any of these shows, it's season 9, so they casted for nonsense instead of what they don't realize is we really like the love story. We really like the story, even if it has to end. You know what I'm saying? But this whole thing with KB and Edmund was a lot. Good grief. Anyway, child, where did I leave off? It's so funny to me. The girls are in the bridal rooms, both of them. Allie and KB are in this bridal room talking up their man, and I love him some. I can't wait to walk down the aisle with this man. You know, everybody in these rooms are getting gassed up, unless I don't think she told them the truth. Either one of them. I think they like probably wondering like, what now? Maybe her best friend knows because her best friend like he's different. KB had to say to her friends like what's really going on because her friends will be looking at her like, what is happening? Don't try to play with me. You sitting up here talking about you love him, you love him. Maybe you love him for being nice, but this ain't what you're trying to go home to. That's why she's told him straight out the gate. No cookie, honestly. I'm not having sex with you. You know what I'm saying? So don't even. Um, Edmund's fifth grade teacher came, and I'm very curious as to what role this lady really plays in his life. It's just so, I don't know. I felt a little creeped out by it, and maybe I don't have any reason to, but it was really uncomfortable to me, his fifth grade teacher. And I'm not saying this lady did anything to him. I'm just saying the engagement between them is very odd. And it just made me, Rhonda, uncomfortable. They talk about fifth grade. Edmund hasn't been in fifth grade so a really long time. So he calls her Miss Walsh. And he explains the things that she did for him. I mean, that's the initially like the story he told in the pods where his fifth grade teacher came into his life and picked up a lot where his mother left off. I think I'm curious as to what role does she play now, because it was so emotional between the two of them. And I get it. Like he says, she made sure he ate. I feel like there's a lot of teachers like that. I have friends who are teachers who are dealing with kids who don't eat and, have risked their job bringing food to these kids because they don't. Like, I think, there are teachers that do that, especially with the younger kids. With the older kids, they probably like make sure they got a ride home somehow. Uber, it's just, I feel like that's just kind of what teachers do. It's just confusing to me. I feel like maybe we should have met her instead of the mother because that she wants him to call her mama or mama number two. She said Edmund used to be in her classroom singing and dancing while she was trying to teach. And Edmund is still exhibiting those same types of behavior. Even at this age, he's still dancing around, skipping and whoo, and, acting, like a fifth grader. What happened to Edmund in fifth grade that he's still stuck there? Does Miss Walsh have anything to do with that? I'm not trying to besmirch this lady's reputation. I'm just telling you, like, I have, a feeling about this that makes me feel uncomfortable. That's all. He don't even feel comfortable calling her by her first name. He's still calling her Miss Walsh. How do we go from Miss Walsh to mom? He still got that stupid pick in his head. That's another thing. Edmund, do these girls just want to like see themselves in a wedding dress? Is that why you choose this? Because ain't no way. Ain't no way. I don't see how, like, even the thought of going that far. I think Anton will be fine. He, he'll just go, throw a couple few back, and then him and his boy will go to the strip club to get, over his woes. I think, what's the name? Jordan will be fine. Jordan knew, like, from the get that maybe this wasn't gonna work out. I feel like Edmund, on the other hand, is different. We know that there's something emotionally immature about this man. So going all the way to the end and telling him no is kind of diabolical, KB. I mean, you can sit there and talk in that soft voice, you and your mama, but I'm side-eyeing this whole thing. What were the colors for this wedding? That was also a thing I was confused by. I'm like, Edmund got on a blue suit with a green and white print shirt. I don't know what he had pinned to him. A few pins, a flower, and the pig. and some wild socks. And we have to make sure that these pants are so short, like he's all got them tied up to his balls, like Urkel. Anyway, none of it really matched though. Like the groomsmen had silver and gray suit jackets. Some of them have on black ties. One of them had on a white tie. I guess he couldn't find his color, or that was supposed to make him special. The bridesmaids, I think their dresses were pink or something. I don't know. Hey, Diana. Welcome to the chat. I don't believe I've seen you over here before, but come on in. I'll be over here stumbling and bumbling through my notes, and hopefully y'all will help keep me on track, because that's what I do over here. Anyway, the colors had me thrown off. I was like, what color even? Who picked this stuff out? The other girl, Allie's girls, I know they all had green. It looked like, a wedding. I'm with Megan now. Let me see what you did. What kind of decisions you was over there making. We need to discuss this before you go over there just making decisions on your own. None of y'all wearing, proper socks, short pants, balls all crunched up. Edmund is Urkel all the way down. You've been watching in the background. I ain't mad at it. Long as you hit the like button and the subscribe button, child. But we like you over here. Where you can participate in the conversation. They stand at the altar with a whole bunch of "I love you so much, I love you so much," and they was kissing. And do you supposed to do all that kissing and stuff before you get to the preachers saying what they say? Edmund's pants, they're all short. I feel like he does that on purpose. He does that on purpose so you can see his socks. I think he thinks he's giving some type of style. It's style, all right. It's something. I don't know what it is. It's not something I would be walking around with. And KB was thinking the same thing. I'm not about to walk around here with this fool with a pick in his head. He almost 30 talking about he want to be somebody's daddy. No, you don't. Who was at that wedding? Did y'all look at the guests? That was a strange guest list. See, this is how you know KB was not fooling with Edward. There were none of her people in the audience. None of them. Her mama. That's it. Her real people were not there. There was a lot of random, Edmund friends from Colorado. You think he hemmed him extra? I think so too. I think, that's his look. Edmund over there thinking he designing things. He's created a whole vibe. I don't know whose vibe it is, and it ain't my vibe. Yeah, they're standing up there. Oh, I love you so much. He's sounding like a kid, like that's getting off of punishment. Can I have a dog, Mom? I promise I'll be good to it. I'll change the water every day. I'll make sure his pen stays clean. I'll take accountability. I'll be very responsible. I promise I will, Mom. That's how he sounded. I love you so much. What'd you say, Tina? That was my first thought. It was about the dresses and being a bride. It's weird, though. The weird obsession with being a bride for the sake of, I don't know what type of opportunities these people, are going to have afterwards. This was just very weird. After you hurt somebody's feelings, was it worth it? I don't know. What's his name over on TikTok? Clay still running his mouth. Talking about, he said something. We'll get into that. Remind me about Clay so I don't get thrown off over here. Because right now we're at the altar with KB and Edmund pretending, like she about to marry this man. And he's all for it. Like I said, he's over there making promises to be a good boy and brush his teeth and, keep his toys picked up. That's what I heard. I don't know what he was saying, but that's what it sounded like to me. And KB says it was easy to fall in love with him. Did she write that down? Her mother must have helped her. So, we're going to try to make it as nice as we can. Like I said, I'm going to give her a little bit of grace because they did this. They knew better than this. They knew better. She could have had somebody up there that was kind of nerdy. You know what I'm saying? But this is on a whole nother level. She says she fell in love with his story. KB, his story is tragic. What do you mean you fell in love with his story? He grew up in foster care. His parents abandoned him and got back in his life and left out again and came back. His mother is still doing it. His father was there. I have questions. I'm not, trying to point out anything except for whose daddy was that, because it's not KB. I mean, if he raised him, I guess, if you raised this man, but you didn't. So, because, if you were raising him, he wouldn't have been in foster care. So who was that man that came over there to the wedding? Gotta be kidding me. What'd you say? All the theatrics for no reason. I'm in y'all's conversation. Let me get back over here where I was at the altar with KB and Evan. She said his story shaped him. That's for sure. Everything she said was very much true. So if that's the case, then KB, I'm wondering why you were here. Why you didn't just say, I don't care what y'all say. I'm not finna sit over here and waste my time with this man that kisses the floor and eats boogers. That alone is enough for me to be out of here. Mama may be back on that stuff. I think Mama wasn't. She was on that stuff when she came over there, talking about all the other daughter-in-laws be ratting me out. Yeah, your mama calling asking for $20 again. Can you do something about that? Is that the ratting out she was talking about? Anyway, we back at I love you so much. That's even the way he communicates. Edmund be saying absolutely nothing. He has not said anything, nothing, not enough conversation for you to be over here talking about I fell in love with your story. He understands, but he ain't saying a whole lot. Evan thought he was going to get lucky tonight. He came in with hot feet. He thought he was going to get the boing. Nope. When KB said no to Edmund, that she was not going down the aisle, the look on that teacher's face was priceless. If y'all didn't pay attention, go back just enough to watch the look on that teacher's face, because she was done. Maybe she was done. Maybe she was relieved. I don't know what that teacher's on, but like I said, curiouser and curiouser. KB says that Evan deserves someone that's 100% at the altar. Did y'all hear that sound he made when she said no? It was like, It reminded me of two different things. One, I won't say, but when somebody like sprays medicine on your open cut and you're like, you gotta bite your way through, till the pain goes away. That's what he did. He's crying. He's heartbroken. KB talked him down though. Like, she didn't just walk away and be like, sorry about it, dude. I'm not into it. And, so she had a conversation with him until, because we always have to calm him down. Whenever we're talking to Edmund, we always have to be very careful how we talk. And you're okay, Edmund. It's going to be fine. You're allowed to cry. It was like, girl. He had to go take a walk. He had to, walk it off because he was like, I'm not okay. I know I'm supposed to say I'm okay. We know you're not okay, babe. It's okay. I mean, you've got a group of people over here that's going to hold your hand and talk to you very softly. Poor thing. Yeah, poor thing. Poor thing that he came over here. The thing that I think was sad, that when he was saying like, this was my only chance, this was my last chance. I've tried every other thing, and this is just like was my last shot. And I mean, she said all the right things. The teacher did, Miss Welsh, other mama. KB was not the right one for him. That's for sure. We've known it from the very start. We was over in the pod going, girl, what is you hearing that we're not hearing? But there was never even a moment where we saw a bonding conversation happen. They were, oh my God, I like you so much. I feel like, he just needs his Myra. And I think she's there. Like Urkel had his Myra. He chased Laura for years and years and years, and Laura was not interested in it. And so now he just needs his Laura. And so please, girl, thumbs down. What happened? You don't think it's sad? You don't think it's sad, poor thing? It's poor thing. I just think he needs his Myra, and she's probably in Colorado. She's probably somewhere in the mountains with blonde hair and her UGG boots on, and a fuzzy little sweater, and maybe a snort when she laughs. You know, Colorado things, and y'all be careful out there in those mountains. But what it is. I hope it ain't Miss Walsh. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Megan and Jordan. Jordan came home. Megan was sitting on the couch. She said she got up at 4:30 this morning, and she just been a mess ever since she got up. She's been crying. Megan says she feels like they're like two ships passing in the night. They're just two different people. And Jordan's like, you keep saying that, but I don't think we're that different. Yeah, you are. How? Sway? You've been completely different from day one. Even when you came in the pods and she was calling herself Sparkle Megan, you said, I'm not that. I wear black jeans and a black t-shirt, and I'm not very sparkly at all. That's what you said. Now, all of a sudden, we're not that different. Y'all are very different. Megan pointed out some of the differences. You eat the same thing every day. I like to try different things. You're a picky eater. You be blending your chicken and Crystal Light in a blender. I don't want to try any of that. Jordan said if he had $1 million gazillion dollars, he could do all the things that, she does. So then the money is an issue. He kept trying to say it wasn't an issue, but it is an issue. And she, the same thing. Both of y'all were trying to act like the distance between y'all's income wasn't going to be a problem. And clearly it is. And Megan, I don't know what you thought it was like being a parent. Him and his son's mother clearly sharing custody because the boy got to go get picked up from school. So he be over there, I don't know how many days of the week, but he has a regular routine with his son that has to be considered and a job. No, she was talking like she was all for him, and she wasn't. I'm guessing you meant KB. Yeah, she was. She was gassing Edmund up. Anyway, Megan says she's been doing all these things alone. That's the thing. When you have money and she's visiting all these fabulous places and, seeing all these things by herself, she wants somebody to share that with. And this guy is not the guy. Y'all went over there and bonded over type 1 diabetes, which sounds crazy to me. I think he has a problem with her making more because I feel like she would be like, he shut it down completely. Like her doing things, even going out to dinner. I don't feel like he has that boy like all the time. I feel like I said they're sharing custody. So on the weeks that Luca is at his mother's house, they could plan something. They could plan to get away. You have a job. You can plan vacation time. He's acting like no. She needs to understand that that's a thing. If you're going to be with somebody quite regular, then you need to understand that, I can't just call off work and zip off in, the middle of the week. I need to make plans for these things. But he was pretty much like, nope, can't do it. So, yeah, the money was an issue. But I'm going to put that on her because she already knew that. He talking about he used to be in a provider while he sleeps in a 1-bedroom apartment with his son. And I think even that to me is like, so are you doing that to just say you're humble? Can you just because, okay, that's fine if you just plan on being single or you just got a divorce from, your ex or whatever, y'all split up, however that thing went. But if you're planning for a wife, at the very least, you should be in a 2-bedroom apartment. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't bring your wife to be in the living room with the little boy sleeping on the other side. I mean, you're not even preparing your life for a partner, Jordan. He acts like he has no time off. He can't think. He can't do nothing. He come in the house. He can't talk. She wants to talk. They don't even communicate the same way. So, and I feel like with most couples, at the end of the day, that's when y'all bond. Like everybody's home from work, and you know, you talk about your day or your future, what your plans are. He don't want to talk about nothing. Now he said something in the pod that because I went back and I was like, what were they saying to each other in the pod? He said something about his father barely saying he loves him, and that he tells Luca that as much as he can. So I feel like that relationship with his dad somehow has made him retreat into this place where he doesn't you don't dream no dreams bigger than what you're doing. I'm just the logistics guy. Now that you're with this woman, that's like an avenue for you to come up, not off her, but you know what I'm saying, as a partner, y'all doing things together. You don't see, it didn't even seem like he was interested in growing from the space in life that he is. He used up his 2 weeks for the pot. Well, he should have done that. That in itself is crazy. Honestly, I don't feel like anybody with kids should be allowed in the pod. I think that's a lot to bring onto a child. So if you have kids, I don't think you belong in here in the first place, because it's one thing for you to feel like you're emotionally ready, but I would hate to like come home to my 5-year-old like, this is your new mommy, my new wife. That's Jordan. I think Jordan be on bullshit a lot of the time. Megan says she never dated anybody with a kid before. And I'm like, now, Megan, be so for real. He came out of his mouth day one talking about his son. Before he even put the ring on your finger, or right after, he came out with a picture of Luca. Luca is a huge part of his life, as he should be. And he has a condition, that has to be, like I said, doctor's visits, hospital visits. There's things to go on. My mother had diabetes. It's an ongoing thing. So are you, that's what his life looks like. On Tuesday, me and Luca got to go to the doctor's office. Are you going, or are you going to be like, all right, well, I'm finna have tennis, over here with my girlfriends? Because them girlfriends, they seem a little high maintenance too, like Allie's girlfriends. Jordan said, why did you choose me in the pod? Why did y'all choose each other, Jordan? Because she told you like what her lifestyle was like. You spent 3 dates trying to figure out what kind of car she drives. That means you was very much focused on her fancy lifestyle. So don't let it be a problem for you now. And yeah, why did y'all choose each other in the pod? Megan was at the pod, and this is just about exactly what she said. She says she likes Jordan a lot, but she doesn't see their lifestyles meshing in the way she needs from a husband. She said it in the beginning, and then she came over there talking about her father was subliminally trying to tell her to go with this man because his child has type 1 diabetes. I think you were trying to run away from Mike because you could smell the douchebag through the ball, and you wouldn't have been wrong. What's his name? Left. And he wasn't feeling you like that anyway. What's the man that left them? The Asian girl left, Anna left, and then he left because he liked her better. Like, that wasn't one of your options. So you didn't have to go all the way to the end. You chose Jordan as the consolation prize. Kind of. Megan is an adventure girl. Jordan is a routine guy. So she apologizes and she breaks it off. And then she, the way she said it, I was like, he said, hey, Elsie, Max, what? Finishing up. Married at First Sight. Yeah. That's even worse. That's even worse than the pods. I don't think my brain can handle Married at First Sight. Anyway. Elsie said like the video and subscribe. And so please follow her instructions because she's the chat manager. Jordan said at some point that, she speaks very harshly. And it was kind of harsh the way she was saying things. She was like, sorry, I didn't have more compassion for you. And I'm like, why does he need compassion? I don't think compassion is something that you should feel for him. He said, Sarah didn't love you and accept you the way you needed me to. Girl, I liked it better when you said the lifestyles don't match. All of this other extra stuff you were saying, your sorries be having a little sting with it. It make it feel like you're not really that sorry. Thank God they didn't go to the altar because we didn't need any more of that. Two is enough. Um, Jordan said he don't have nothing else to say. And I mean, I guess what can you say? He's not gonna crash out like other girl. What's her name? Allie. What's her name? Ain't Annie. Annie over there crossing out, crashing out, talking about don't say no to me right now. Jordan says they asked him if he regrets anything, and he said he regrets introducing her to his son. Well, then you shouldn't come on a show like this because do you think he really liked her? Um, I think he liked the idea of her. I think honestly, nobody has enough time. Like, they in the pods. He didn't have any other connections in there that I know of. She did. She was over there juggling and having a good time. Annie. Megan was doing what Megan does. She out there wheeling and dealing. She's mostly probably dealing with men anyway. So for her, she's probably just used to talking shit. And then he threw her off because in her mind, she wants someone to, have these adventures with. I can see that. The lady got numbers for what the houses is. She broke that down. I'll probably wait until the reunion review to do that. But she broke that what those house numbers are, and they're just so different. I could see that he liked her. She's a good looking girl, and probably, he thought he had something. You know what I'm saying? I think that whole money thing, though, he didn't realize how he was going to feel like that about that afterwards. He shared a shredded chicken. Did she share that? Oh, he shared it with her. Yeah, that would make me think he doesn't like me, else did. Shredded chicken with Crystal Light. How did he even come up with that? This is the thing about that. Jordan, if your body was cut up, I would be like, okay, well, it's working. He just looks like some weird ass nigga drinking chicken out of a straw with some lemonade in it. That's different. Um, yeah, I think Jordan, if you feel that way about her not meeting your child, then you definitely don't belong here. Like I said, I don't think anybody with kids belongs on the show, to be honest. But you were going to have to introduce your whoever, to your kid anyway. There's no guarantee that they're going to go to the aisle. So, to the altar and say yes. Meeting his son means he was serious. I don't know because I also feel like Jordan uses Luca a lot, like as part of his pull for the ladies. So I wonder how many women of Colorado is out somewhere hearing this story. He's pulling Luca's picture out of his wallet, and I'm a great single dad. And I think that's part of his game, Elstead. I think that's part of his game because he came through the door with a whole lot of Luca. Diana says she's not convinced. You're not convinced what? That he liked her? I mean, for as much as you can like somebody in a short period of time, that's my problem with the whole thing. Like, there's only so much like. If I got all the way down to the altar and the guy said no, for me, I would be like, well, I got to try this dress on and I look really good. He uses his son to pull chicks. That's what I think. I think, it's like the guy in the store with the dog, you know what I'm saying? And you're like, oh my God, look at the little dog. And they got a story. He's got a little Luca. Luca is probably very charming 5-year-old because those kids that have to go to the hospital a lot are different. They used to being a different kind of social. They have a lot of knowledge because they're going through things. I think Luca is probably more charming than his daddy. I'm gonna just go out on a limb and say that. He's 5. Can you imagine? She met Luca, but it wasn't enough to take her over the edge. She says she's now questioning whether she should be a mother at all. I think that you should question that because at least right now, how old is she? Girl, freeze your eggs. I feel like I told her that before. She got a lot of money. Them eggs is probably already frozen. Freeze your eggs. Go ahead. Just say, get it all out of your system. Take your time. And you find the same kind of man. Why don't you and Allie like hook up and like run around, do a world tour? because I feel like y'all are looking for the same guy. Difference is you got money. And so if you want to bounce, if it ain't right, you could go ahead and do that. Allie, on the other hand, gonna be stuck unless you get her paper right. Um, that's what I think Megan should do. I don't know what Jordan should do. He should, maybe Jordan should start flirting with some of them nurses down to the office where his, down to the doctor's office where Luca has his appointments. I don't know, y'all. Next week is the reunion. Oh, I said I was going to talk about Clay. So Clay is out here on his TikTok with so much to say about, how people talked about him during his season and how these women are going to the altar leaving these men and how he caught so much flack, but they won't. They will. I mean, I feel like we're like, are you for real? I do appreciate that Megan broke it off before she got to the aisle, to the wedding. You know what I'm saying? Because this dude would have went over there, tux ready. Um, anyway, Clay had the nerve to say that KB is going to come over here and she's going to say no to Edmund and nobody's going to have a problem with it because it's okay for a black man to be left at the altar. But God forbid a black man leave a black woman at the altar, then they're coming for him. And I was like, what in the weird ass logic? Now that he has to find another doctor if he breaks up with the nurse. I feel bamboozled. The decisions are meant for the weddings at the altar. Too many left. I don't feel bamboozled. I feel like this went exactly how I wanted. But yeah, I was like, Clay, that's not what it is. We're not gonna make this a black issue. We just felt like can't speak for everybody. I'm gonna speak for me. I feel like AD went over there knowing full well that Clay didn't want to do it. And she did it anyway, just like these girls did, because she just wanted to be in a wedding dress so bad. I feel like AD was 100% sure that man was unsure, but she just was hoping and praying that he was. This right here, Edmund is working on, like we said, a mental different level than some of the people here watching. And so he probably did believe it. He had it all planned out. He was going to smash tonight finally. This was the best day of his life, and she crushed him. And, as far as Allie is concerned, this nigga be drinking too much. All you saw him doing after she said no was tossing back. How many of them champagnes did he have after it was all said and done? Anton will be all right. Nobody feels sorry for Anton, but I didn't feel sorry for AD. So, yeah. Clay got more heat than the two men who said no. Who else said no? What other two men? I feel like Clay got a lot of heat, yeah, but that's because people like fantasized about this whole fairy tale with AD and things. Now, this time around, if Edmund had been a different guy, we would probably have the same feeling towards KB as we do. Why did Clay get so much heat? Well, like I said, I feel like people just, how we see a good looking couple and we get all caught up in it, like Teyana Taylor and Iman. I'm not falling for this current Aaron Pierre relationship that Teyana is trying to pass off on us, but sometimes we do that. And I think for me, Clay said he got a lot of heat. For me, I feel like AD was just as wrong. But, people were all like, oh, AD, she fell in love first with the, Jeffrey Dahmer dude. And then that didn't work out. And so she went to Clay. Clay was not even her first option. She was over there falling in love with the Ted Bundy dude. We don't like it when they play in our faces. Jeremy cheated, but Clay got more heat. Which one was Jeremy? I don't remember him. He cheated? Which one was Jeremy? Oh, I remember Jeremy. He did cheat. When that girl GPSed him. Ooh, you got a good memory. Trevor had a girlfriend and Clay got more heat. Well, Clay, the people out here said that you were unfairly crucified out here on these Love is Blind streets. I'm going to give you that. I didn't watch. That was my first season watching with Clay and AD. And when I seen Clay talking to, I mean, when I seen AD like soft talking to the Ted Bundy nigga, I was like, oh my God, this is it. Jeremy was the one that took with the other girl. He left his phone in the car, and the girl had GPSed him. She knew where he went. Maybe because they didn't get to the altar. Maybe that's why Jeremy got more heat. And also, that crazy girl was on that season. The crazy Megan Fox girl. Yes, Matthew. And she was over there. Okay, so AD over there soft talking Ted Bundy. And KB over here falling in love with, the tragedy story. Ladies, we got to do better. We got to do better. Megan was over here, dumbing down her life for this man because, he wanted to move out of the bedroom with his son. What city is next? Because Colorado is the reunion, I feel like is going to be a bunch of fighting with Madison and Joe. Everybody is like, Joe is a bad guy. All the little podcast girls that, interview Madison, they're like, oh, Madison, he did you so wrong. And I'm like, nah, I guess, child. If I was Joe, I would have ran fast because that girl is nuts. She nuts just like the Megan Fox girl. Yeah, she's that kind of kooky. And then she's out here saying, which I really don't like, she's out here saying that because of Joe, she's now developed an eating disorder. And I'm like, girl, we're not going to put that on him. I feel like your insecurities was there, when you was at the 7-Eleven buying hot Cheetos. Anyway, y'all, that's all I got on this episode. What day is it? It's tomorrow. I won't be here. I got to go in the salon. Friday, Saturday, I will be here at 7:00. Me and T will be reviewing the Bell Collective. Have y'all been watching Bell Collective? If you haven't, that's okay too. And Sunday, we're going to get into these Ready to Love new cast members. So thank y'all for hanging out with me. Like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see y'all when I see you. Bye.